Hi, Katt.
Hey Sam.
Welcome back, everyone, to I've lost track of what episode this is.
Well, I don't actually know. Is it 8 or 9? It could be 8
It
or
could be 9, 'cause we didn't do one last week, did
9.
we?
You didn't.
But I'm sure everyone will forgive us because it was like baking hot, which kind of leads us on to today's episode that we're going to talk about heat or like temperature intolerances and stuff like that. Because obviously in the UK, we're coming out of a massive heat wave. Um, I think I saw in the news that it said it's the hottest it's been in August, like last Friday. I think so. What day? Sunday, not this Friday, on the Friday before, was the hottest day in August it's been since like 2003 or something.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well.
Yeah, so it's been mega hot, and anyone listening that has MS will know that heat intolerances is such a thing. And it might be for other chronic illnesses. I feel like heat just
I
flares
think,
up a
yeah, I
lot,
think it
doesn't
is.
it?
Yeah.
But yes, we thought a good place to start before we move on to like our experiences with like temperature and all that good stuff is Katt, Katt the scientist. No. Katt's
Not
gonna explain a bit like kind of like what's going on, like why it's happening.
okay, so well, it's from they don't actually know, as always with our wonderful
Yeah.
illness, they don't really know how it all works. But they think that so there's two kind of things that we can talk about related to temperature. Obviously, what we've just been through the last week in regards to the massive heat wave we've had and how that affects people with MS is in when your core temperature is raised, it can cause symptoms of flare. And then also we do have problems with temperature regulation. I know I do. I don't know if you do, Sam.
Yeah,
Um,
like Frank always says, like, I'm never okay. Like Frank's like, I'm either too hot or too cold. Like, I don't know what it feels like to be a normal temperature.
yeah, can relate massively.
But well, actually, yeah, yeah, carry on. I was about to go off on a tangent already.
Love it. Oh yeah, I was going to say like so. Obviously, there's the kind of flare up of symptoms that we get, and you can get it the other way as well. It's more rare, I think, for it to be cold, like cold temperatures to trigger your symptoms. It's generally heat, but that can happen as well. But also, like we've just talked about, temperature regulation that can be a problem in MS down to a specific lesion on our brain that deals with temperature control. And I know that when I relapsed in 2019 and I was in that bloody rehab place, I was freezing. Like I've never been so cold in my life and I could not warm up. And then there's times when I'm so hot and it's not even hot. And I'm like, why am I burning and on fire?
Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
right now, I've got the fan on and I'm really hot, but it's not actually that hot today. Like, I'm going to look at my phone what temperature is.
well, I sometimes feel like I get I'll call it the campfire burning sensation, where
Yeah.
it feels like you're sitting next to a really hot fire, but then I'll touch my skin and I'm actually cool. And it's like, it's just that I feel like I'm really, really hot. But then sometimes I am really hot and I'll get really sweaty. It's really odd. It makes no sense.
That's the tangent I was going to go off on. 'Cause I'm interested, like, it's like today, I feel hot, but it's like a flustered kind of hot. So it's
Yeah.
not that it's like I'm aware that it's not hot. It's not a hot day, but I just feel like flustered kind of hot. But I've been taking my temperature every day for like my treatment. And today it was 36.2, which is like fine. But
Mm.
that's the lowest that it's been. Like I've been doing it since last Monday, and I think the highest was like 36.6. So a real like small window. It's interesting that I felt hot and flustered today, but actually my temperature was that. And it's been a really hot week, or the beginning of the week was really hot, but my temperature's still been. So like my question is like, are we actually like, does your temperature only really change when it comes to like infections and fevers? You know?
I don't think it does, because I think your core temperature gets raised, because this is something I don't understand, is that because I used to always read about people with MS saying about the heat, and I'd be thinking, right, I've had MS for years and it's not ever really, I don't know, maybe I was like more fatigued or whatever, and like I hadn't really experienced like a big flare up of symptoms. But then like this year, and it's happened like sort of earlier in the year as well, but especially like this time around, it's like it doesn't correlate actually to the weather, in that it does, that it's really hot, but it could be a day that it's like more muggy, and then my symptoms are worse. But then sometimes when it's really, really sunny and hot outside, I'm absolutely fine. But then this time around, it was like my symptoms were that bad. It was like I said to you before we came on here, like it was like relapse level of like pain. Like I was in so much nerve pain. I had so much nerve pain in my leg and my arm, and like, and my foot was like, oh my God, it was so painful. And I was just like, but this, it doesn't make any sense, because then I had like a couple of days of it being kind of okay, and then it just came back again. And it was like, make your mind up. There's just no consistency with it. I don't know how it works.
Because like when I go on holiday and it's hot, like that doesn't, I don't know, like bother me. If I'm not like, people are like sun people, aren't they, you know, that crave and like can sit out in the sun loads. Like that's not me anyway, so I probably don't. So like I push myself and like lay by the pool in the sun for like 6 hours solid, but it kind of, like, I don't know, it makes me feel a bit better. Like it's such a minefield on knowing like what heat is going to make you feel worse and what heat is going to make you feel better.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think they're like, the sun heat probably is okay for us, like, you know, vitamin D and can help. But like for me, I get like, my symptoms get way worse when it's like muggy heat, or if I'm like, I call it flustered hot. So even if I'm not flustered, like where I just feel like it's too much, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm too hot, and I feel like I probably get a bit stressed, which is probably why we're on holiday laying by a pool, because you're not stressed then. But it tends to affect me more. Like that Friday that I was talking about was like the hottest day. I actually was okay. Like I think I had quite a bit of fatigue, like I was quite tired, but I managed to stay quite cool. Like first thing in the morning I had my well, it wasn't even a tepid bath, I had a cold bath. And I think it really like lowered my temperature. And then like I just made sure, like, I think I was working that day, that I had a fan on me, and I didn't, you know, because it was advertised, wasn't it, it was going to be such a hot day. I made sure that I was like ready for it, and so I felt okay. But then I don't know what day it was, but like a few days after that, maybe like Monday, Tuesday, I was worse. And it wasn't, I mean, it was still hot, but it wasn't as hot. But it's been like stormy, hasn't it? And I was like, nerve pain and fatigue and like walking, like yeah, just everything sort of like flared up a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that, like you said, I thought that I was going to be worse on the day when it was really, really hot, but I was actually, I think I was worse, and I was in more pain. It was almost like it was the lead up to it being hot, and it was starting to get hot, and it was like having a reaction in my body. And I don't know if it's something to do with like pressure in the air, or I don't know what it is, but I thought. But then at the same time, there was, when it was really hot, there was a day again when it was really, really hot, and my symptoms were so bad, and I was like, this is not normal. This doesn't normally happen. So it's like, I can't figure out the trend or the pattern, or is there a trend or a pattern, or, but it is definitely when like your sort of core temperature gets raised. Because I was going to say, do you get it when you get out of the shower? If you have a hot shower, do your symptoms flare up?
Not so much a shower, but that's the bath. That's why I've started having these like cool baths, because yeah, not so much a shower, and I do have hot showers. But when I would have a hot bath, like, God, it would make me so bad, like so bad, that it got to the point where I was like, I can't, that's it, I can't do it anymore now. I can't have baths, because I was one of those people that liked like a really piping hot bath. So hence now why I've started having cool ones, because I was actually like, hey, this isn't that bad. But yeah, if I have a hot bath, I can barely move. The whole body just like shuts down. Like it really does. Yeah, hit me hard, that.
Yeah. See, I get it in the shower. So but then again, there's no sort of like trend or pattern with it. So it's like sometimes I can have a really hot shower and I'll be absolutely fine, and then sometimes I have like just a normal shower and it'll be quite hot, and then I'm, you know, my leg's giving way and I'm like my hand's not working and stuff, and I'm like, why? Like it doesn't. There's no pattern, so you can't even like manage it properly, if that makes sense. But actually I didn't even explain why they so think that it happens with people with MS. To do with nerve signal, like it's nerve signaling, and it slows it down. The heat does, and then obviously we have damaged myelin, so it's even harder for our bodies to like reroute the information, and it takes longer, which then results in all these lovely symptoms. Yeah. But they don't actually know again why. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of like, so I've never been like mad keen, like I wasn't ever a summer person. Like, I don't know, it's torn because I really like summer evenings, like when it's cool. And now that we like have Riley the dog, like I prefer summer because it's like easier for like walking him and we leave the back door open. But in general, I'd say I'm more of like a autumn girl. Like, because you like it when it's raining loads, but I like autumn when it's like dry, crisp, but like cool. But yeah, there's no pattern to like when, like I said, that Friday, like I was fine, but then a few days after. But I think for me, it's definitely where I get like flustered. And I keep saying it, but it is like things, if I've got like a lot to do, like if it's a really hot day and I can take my time and I'm not, you know, I can be like, right, I'm not doing anything today, then I can like survive through it. But if I've got stuff to do, that's where then like the heat just gets too much, which is why I think like on holiday you can cope with it a bit more because you're not like, stress isn't a factor as well, like you've got nothing to do. Because if I get hot, I get stressed.
Yeah, and also you get more brain foggy as well when you're hot. That's a symptom of MS that flares up. So it's like you say, I was getting really flustered, like trying to organise myself the other day and leave the house, and it was like I was so hot, and then even just moving around was making me more hot, and that was making me more stressed, and I was just really like clammy, and I was just like, what the hell is this? But like you say,
is it? Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, is it heat or is it stress? But yeah, I think it's both, isn't it? That they
combo. But the heat just it just makes it worse. And then when you get stressed, you get hot. And yeah, like you say, lying by a pool is slightly different. It's very less stressful. So therefore,
and you don't overheat, because if you get to the point where you are too hot, you can go get in a pool. Like it's easy to keep, like you said, your core temperature. Like your skin might feel hot, but like it's probably easier to keep your core temperature down because you're not like working or like running around a shop. You know, like you're not doing something at the same time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
What sort of symptoms flare up do you get from the heat then?
Right, this is how I see it, right? I just sort of like, I don't know. So I figure that it's like, because I was actually getting some symptoms that I hadn't actually had specifically before, which obviously they say is a relapse. I don't think it definitely wasn't a relapse because I'm fine. But I say fine. I use that term loosely. So
like Ross Geller, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm definitely fine. I'm fine. I've completely lost my train of thought. What was I even talking about?
Symptoms that you've had.
Oh yeah. So like, there's my symptoms are in like obviously different places on my body, and like my right side is really affected, and there's certain fingers and like my foot and like just areas on my body that were really affected in relapses. But then also there's residual symptoms that I get quite often still that not related to the heat. But then when I was like with the heat, it was like there was new symptoms, in air quotes, in the areas that I already had issues with, but that it was just different. So it was like, mostly for me, it was pain this time. And like I'm quite lucky in that I do have pain, but it's not excruciating constantly. Like I have nerve pain that comes and goes every single day, but I'm used to it, and you just manage it, don't you? But it was like I have problems with my knees, so it was like my right leg just sort of stopped working, and all the muscles around my knee were just like, I don't know, like I sort of kept giving out, and then it felt like, this is a symptom I've talked about before, it just feels like someone's been jumping up and down on my foot like repeatedly. And like imagine how bruised and like battered your foot would feel. It feels like that. And then it was like it hurt to like put my foot on, like to even put my foot on the carpet, because it was so sensitive on the bottom, and it had pebble feet, and it was like the spasticity, I can never say it, spasticity in my legs was like I was just like waddling around because they were so tight and painful. And then just nerve pain on my head. I get quite a lot of nerve pain like on my scalp, my face, my jaw, my hand, like I couldn't write properly. It had gone all stiff. Like, I'm trying to think what else. There's just so many like little things. And I think because I'm so used to them, I don't even really recognize them, but it was pain for me. I would say generally that was the umbrella symptom that, and I was like, fuck, I'm not used to this much pain. Like, what the hell? Like, is this a relapse? And I can, like I said to you, I can understand why people think, you know, that they're having a relapse or could be having a relapse, because it's really quite severe. And they were symptoms, like I say, that I hadn't had before. But I had, and so I'm guessing, this is a guess, scientific cat guess, which I'm just making up. But I assume that it's obviously, we've got damage in certain places. And I think the heat obviously sort of like activates those lesions, or something happens with them. But it's almost like it sort of like irritates that lesion in that area, but then it would produce a different symptom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because I mean, like all the symptoms I'm having were in places that had stuff before, but not to that extent, and not when I wasn't in a relapse, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a bit like, I was just kind of like, whoa, this is interesting. But yeah, what was it like for you?
I don't get, so I'll like I'll talk about that in a bit. Like, I don't get spasticity in the heat at all, I don't think. Like, I'll put a pin on that and come back to that. But for me, it's more like fatigue. Like, my fatigue will go through the roof. Like, you know, walking from the living room to the kitchen, like, you know, things that just completely and utterly exhaust you. And then like I get my hands, I can't write properly and stuff. But so rather than it being from like spasticity, like with my legs and my hands, it's like my brain, it's like I've forgotten how to do it, like the signal, like I can't walk properly because I can't bend my knee properly, or like it feels like it's bending the opposite way. Like,
that as well.
oh god, that is the worst feeling. It's really like, oh, gross. So yeah, so mine, I'd say with heat is like, yeah, pain. But again, I wouldn't say like, I'd say I get like a high level of pain, but I wouldn't go as far as excruciating. The only reason I'd say that is because after I had my first round of Lemtrada last year, the nerve pain that triggered was like, I think I might die. Do you know, like to my teeth, like then it was horrendous. And so Frank's just texted me from downstairs. He's gonna walk the dog. Anyway, yeah. So now I kind of think, well, I would call it a high level. Like, it's not my base level. I'd say a high level, but nothing quite like the pain that I experienced like after that, which hopefully I don't get this year. And then yeah, it's more just I can't, like, especially on my right hand, like grip anything sort of thing. But it's not through spasticity, it's through like maybe weakness, I'd say, with it. But the thing I was saying, like, put a pin in it, is because I know that like you said, it's not as common, but I think people can have these issues with the cold, can't they? Like my spasticity is way worse in the cold, like when I'm freezing. And I think that there's an element of that is like normal, like normal. Like, I think that, you know, you could have a perfectly fit and healthy person, and if they're freezing, you know, and they've been like curled up, that they might feel a bit stiff, you know. But I think there's an element to it that's like a normal thing that's heightened by the MS, because I'll get more spasms, or like first thing if I wake up in the morning and it's like really cold, it'll like, my legs like, they'll be really like spastic. Like, and it's really hard to like walk straight away. So I'd say the cold does that more. And also the other thing, which is so huge for me, that I've like learned over the years with like temperature intolerances is that you can't win, can you? MS is just like, nah, fuck you. Like, you're gonna have it worse on this end and worse on that end. Because like in the boiling heat, or like in the heat, it's like everything flares up and you feel like shit. But my bladder is like, this is where I belong. The heat is good. The
Oh,
heat is
really?
soothing me. There's less spasms. I go to the toilet less. Like, the heat does my bladder good. And then in the cold, my bladder's like, nah, you're gonna piss yourself 20 times today.
That's
To put it really
interesting.
disgustingly. But like, and I think again, there's an element of like normalcy to that. I feel like when people are cold, you do go to the toilet more, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
And I,
think that's the thing for like any like a fit, healthy person. I think that if you are cold, like I'm sure that's the thing that you do wee more. But
yeah.
for me, it's like it is heightened to the point where if it's like a really boiling hot day and we're in the car and I'm like, oh, we need the aircon on, you know, to try like sometimes like the window being open isn't good enough. You need that like icy feeling of the aircon, but that will trigger my bladder. Like if I sit in the car hot and sweat and feel worse, I at least know that I'm not going to have to stop, you know, like that my bladder will be okay. But as soon as coldness hits my bladder, it spasms and it's like a constant urge to need to go to the toilet. Weird,
Oh,
right?
that's really interesting. I'm going to research this like when we get
Yeah.
off here because I want to learn about it. Because I used to always say that I'd always say, "Oh, my symptoms are worse in the cold." Like, because like I said, I'd read about people with MS being like, "Oh my god, it's so bad in the heat," and I'd be like, "Is it? Like, is it that bad?" I was like, I'd always get it worse in the cold, but was it just that, like you said, it was my normal part of me that
Yeah,
was
exaggerated
reacting.
by
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Because
then, but then,
I also think that when you're hot, it's like, yeah, for me, like the heat, my heat intolerance is worse because when you're hot, it's harder to cool down, I think. Whereas if I'm cold and like have bad spasticity, it's easier for me to warm up. And like when I warm up, it's like a temperamental issue, you know, like if my legs are a bit spastic and they're spasming, if I have a hot water bottle and warm up, they'll stop.
yeah.
Whereas like even in the heat on a really bad day, even if I manage to cool myself down, it won't suddenly get rid of the flare up.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, it's annoying. Like you're like, I'm really cool
Like, I'm
now. Can
cool
you stop?
now, go away.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense.
But the
Um,
reason I've realised it is because about a year after I'd been diagnosed, I think it was, I went on and it was like during my period of time that I had where I probably was taking Tecfidera and it was like working okay. I went on a hen do to Marbella and I was really nervous about it because of my bladder, like because everything else was kind of like not under control. Like it's not like I was like the epitome of being well, but all my friends, you know, all my friends knew I had a great support system, and we had our own villa, and it was kind of one of those things like I'll do what I can do, you know. But I was concerned about my bladder from like the airport and going places and stuff like that. And I remember like coming back off holiday and thinking like I didn't have like one single issue. Like my bladder was fine, like it didn't play up at all. And I thought, oh, I wonder if it was like the heat, you know, like the heat helped it. And ever since then, I've just noticed that, yeah, if I get like the colder months, my bladder's worse than the warmer months. And little things, like I said, even as much as the car, like the aircon being on,
yeah, it's
will
mad that
just,
that can trigger it. That's
yeah,
yeah. I want to look into this.
yeah, it's so weird. So I don't know what I prefer.
Yeah.
Because my bladder's the bane. I feel like anything else I can like manage to an extent, you know. I feel like there's ways around it. Like earlier this year when I had a relapse, like pre-pandemic, and I went for that night out, that murder mystery, and I took the wheelchair, you know, like I feel like I've learned to adapt to that sort of thing. But my bladder just is still like, obviously it's better than what it was, I said before, but that's still an issue. So yeah, I don't know what's worse.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I just win the lottery and have a villa in Spain and
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure either. Because I hate being cold, like just as a person in general, like not in regards to symptoms or anything like that. Just I hate being cold. Like I have like a 13.5 tog duvet on my duvet, on my duvet.
Yeah.
on my bed all year round.
Oh, you one of them people, yeah, that no matter how hot it is, you have to sleep in your duvet.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, no, I need
Frank
like.
calls me a freak because I will just sleep like with no sheet, no duvet on, like all night. Doesn't bother me.
How do you do that? I
Yeah,
have
I
to like tuck
know.
it into my leg and like wrap myself
Nope.
up in it.
I'll just like shove it to the side and I'll be like, no, wrap yourself. Like, I don't want it, and I'll just lay there on the bed.
Oh mate.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I love our
But
weird little.
what day was it? Like whatever day it got cooler this week, probably like Thursday or something. We had the back door open because we'd kind of just been used to it being open because it had been hot weather, like the dog going in and out, and it was quite cold. And I remember being like I had a little grumble. I was like, oh my god, I'm so cold. I need to jump on. And then I stopped myself and I was like, no, Sam, this is what you've been begging for. Like,
Yeah, innit? See, I think I've forgotten. Like, it feels really weird that it was like so hot. Like, even like 3 or 4 days ago. It's
I
like,
mean, you forget so quickly, don't you?
yeah.
Like, but I don't
I,
know.
I was gonna say, like, what would your sort of top tips be for keeping cool? Like MS related.
Well, so I definitely didn't say this on a podcast because I think I just said it to you when we were on the phone. You know, I was like, I'm going to do an experiment and have a cool bath every morning all week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Oh,
Because like the fatigue, like the energy it takes to even like have a bath sometimes. So that didn't happen. But I definitely say that that's been added recently to one of my top tips.
yeah.
Like when you know, or like when it's forecast that it's going to be a really hot day, have a cool bath. Like, and I mean, not cold. Like, if I had access to like something I could plunge myself into, like I would definitely do like a cold water plunge, but I don't think I could like sit in a freezing cold bath. But like definitely cool, like very, very, very cool. Because I felt like that really did help keep my core temperature down for the day. Like it, because sometimes I've like had baths then, or had a cold shower or had a cold bath later in the day when you're already hot. And
Mhm.
as much as it feels great at the time, I found it doesn't last. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, like
You get
you
out and
then
just
get hot again.
sweat more, and you're like, what is it?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah. So I
counterproductive.
found that having like that cool bath in the morning when it's still, you know, you're not too bad, kind of like helped for the rest of the day. And then apart from that, it's difficult because I know like for a lot of people it wouldn't be feasible, but I try just not have too much to do. In
Mm.
the sense like because you know, I still worked Friday, but I would then say don't expect that you'll be able to work, clean your house, and do, you know, like don't add on anything that's not a necessity for that day. Would be my advice. Let yourself just like chill.
Yeah, I was similar. Would say similar because I've been having chat. I did what you said about having a freezing cold one, and it did not go down well. But then,
I did not.
yeah, well, I just got out of the shower and then just was more hot, and I was like, "How is this? This is so
I
counterproductive to
mean,
what I was trying
I
to do."
feel like if you're already hot, like it feels great at the time, like
Yeah,
when you're hot, but it doesn't last.
yeah. I think having one earlier in the day before it gets
Mm.
really too hot and just keeping your temperature down, because I'm stubborn and I was thinking, oh, but I want to go for a walk, and then I was like, Kat, this is you need to adult and actually be like I needed to not leave the house, so I like set up my room with my fan and my cooling pad and didn't go for a walk. And I think if I'd have tried, it just my leg wasn't working anyway, so it was just
I
like,
also think that, like, and I think this might be a thing, like a science thing, you know, like a fact, but do you like lose and gain the most heat from your body, like in your feet, hands, and head or something?
yeah, I thought it was head,
I think
but I
it's
don't
like
know about hands and
hands and
feet.
feet as well. I'm not sure about hands. But
I don't
anyway,
know,
I
I'll have a
found
look.
that yeah, if I can keep my like head, like my face cool and my feet, like that kind of regulates my temperature.
Yeah,
Like you said, so on a like let's say a non-hot day, like that campfire feeling that you get on
yeah,
your face, even if like my whole body's cool, I found that if my face feels like it's hot, that is like that flusters me and stresses me and
mm,
makes me feel really warm. So like when it is warm, I tend to like ice packs, you know, on your head and stuff.
yeah. I had that one time when my whole body went numb with the heat, and I was holding those like frozen vegetables to my body, and I couldn't even feel it. I was like, this should be hurting, and it's like not even doing anything. I was doing it with the cool pad actually the other day, so that is one thing I would recommend, is the cool pad.
And I've got a couple of like water sprays, like there's an Evian one. Ooh. And it like sprays cool water on you. I found that helps, like especially if you're in front of a fan, because rather than the fan hitting like your warm skin, I feel like it's like cold water on you.
Yeah. Well, Emily was saying last night you should put a cup of cold water or like ice water or ice behind the fan, and what it does is then circulates.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that before. Yeah.
But in regards to the cooling pad, definitely put it in the freezer. Like I said this before.
So I looked to buy one the other day after you were saying about him, and are they ones that like it's just said run this under a cold tap? Like it wasn't.
No, they're
I
like,
couldn't find one that you actually like refrigerate or whatever. It was just like, oh, rinse this in cold water and then put it on your face or something. And I was like, I don't think that's right.
No, mine's quite big.
Yeah.
I'll have to like fold it up, but like my mum said, I said this on the other podcast, my mum said it wasn't allowed because she'd bought it for me. She was like, no, that doesn't go in the freezer, it will ruin it, like you can't put it in the freezer. And then when I spoke to Buster, he was like, just put it in the freezer, it's well better. And it is well better, like it lasts so much longer. There is a bit of a condensation issue, but and also this is another thing, wrists. If you can cool your wrists down, it cools your whole body down.
That's what I'm thinking of, like maybe wrists.
Yeah, so if you put like, we were putting our wrists on the cooling pad just to try and cool our bodies down.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, and you can hold ice if you hold ice on your wrists and stuff. That I used to do that anyway, like sort of back in the day to cool down.
Yeah, we've got a few like not ice packs, like actual ice, but you know, like things that you are meant to be put in the freezer.
Yeah.
Like we ordered Riley a while ago from I don't know if it was Tails or Butterbox, like Butternut Box or something, you know, like the dog food subscription things you can get.
Yeah.
We ordered one from there, and it came with in the installation these like massive like ice pack things that go in the freezer. And honestly, like we didn't keep up the subscription, but I use them still. I like freeze them and then put them like on top of my head.
Oh, that's amazing. See, I should have been putting stuff on my head. Now you've said it, I'm like, that was a silly
honestly, putting it on your head does really help.
Yeah, I'll have to try that next time, because my scalp, like, even to be fair, I was really tired yesterday, but like my scalp literally felt like someone had poured a kettle on it. It was like nerve pain, but also like really hot, and I was just like, but yeah, I should have just put the cooling pad on my head, mate. That probably would have worked.
And I always like headaches and just like feeling grotty and ill. Like I always feel like more in the heat, you know. Yeah. Like, I'm definitely an air person. Like I like cool air, and like I'm a bit concerned. Like I was saying to my mum, I was like, I wonder if they'll have a fan or something, like because it was meant to be cooler again next week, but it's starting to get a bit hotter. I'm just gonna look at the temperature.
Oh God, don't scare me. I was checking.
It has dropped. I think it's kind of dropped again. So it says Wednesday's 22, Thursday's 26, and Friday's 23. But Thursday, the higher one, it does say raining still, which then sometimes that's really crappy.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if I'll have a fan, because if I'm having like my infusion and I don't feel well in the heat, like to me that sounds like hell. But Mum was like, I don't know if they will, because fans just circulate, don't they, like the air, which might not be the most healthiest of things.
Maybe just ask them when you get there, or even like
face one. We'll get one of those hats that have it, like hang down.
Oh mate, yeah, that would be cute.
Yeah.
Maybe you could call them and see, but if that's me being like, that's what I'd do. Or you could just, they've got to have fans. They'll have a fan. Just demand one. Be like, I need a fan.
Yeah, so that's kind of been what else. I feel like our brain fog's both kicking in. I'm like,
and that is something actually that I have noticed, like, is that actually since I've had my Ocrevus, my brain fog has been better. Like I still have my days, of course, but like it is noticeably better. But then with the heat, it's gone back to I've been more brain foggy again. So I think the heat has definitely affected it.
Actually, that's one thing I've noticed. I had last year, God, I've got a bit of a headache now. Problems with like, actually, I'm going to take my glasses off because I think sometimes that's what, like you focus, like my eyesight's too good. It's giving me a headache. I when I had the relapse, had a problem with my eye. I can't even remember which one it is now. It's part of the story. I think it was my right. I don't remember. No, was it yeah, it was last year. No. When did we start talking?
It was when I was diagnosed. It would have been February 2019. So
Only last year?
Yeah.
That does not seem right.
Yeah, I know, it's mad.
I'm like, but I definitely only had a problem with my eye because it was around that time that we started talking. So you were having an issue with your eye, weren't you?
Yeah, because I have my eye patch.
That is mad.
Video.
Yeah, that is mad that it's only been like just over a year. Anyway, yeah, I had a problem with my eye, like I'll say my right eye, and it got pretty much better like after I'd had the steroids and after I recovered from the relapse, but it never got like 100% again last year. And every time that it was too hot, that was one of the things massively that would play up. It would go really blurred vision again. But actually I've noticed that I think it has completely like recovered because I haven't had an issue with it.
Oh, that's so good.
In a long time. Like even the heat now, I haven't, sometimes I get a bit of an issue with my eyes, like trying to focus on something, but I think that's more, again, because my eyesight isn't that cracking, like anyway. But yeah, I haven't had an issue with that eye, I've noticed this time.
Now that you've said that about your vision, that is something the heat has made worse for me, definitely.
Yeah, because it did for me, like when my eye was playing up.
Last night I was so tired and still really hot and overheated. I was like, I could see through into my bathroom, and it was like the shampoo bowl looked like it was actually like 3D, like the writing was coming off of it because it was like so blurry and it was like vibrating, and I was like, I need to go to sleep now. Like, this is bad. But I think it was definitely, that was heat related as well. It was very weird.
Like, do you find with like your eyesight, does it make, I don't know, like I can't tell whether I'm just becoming a really socially awkward person that isn't used to seeing people in person, or whether it's just because my eyesight, like, I don't know, like sometimes when I'm talking to someone, I just feel really awkward. Like I can't see them properly and I just feel a bit awkward. Like, and I don't know whether that's just because I'm struggling to like focus on their face or anything, or if I've just become a bit socially awkward and I don't like eye contact, like looking at people. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, for me it's like, it's more of like it's like sensory overload. But then it's like you say, before I was diagnosed and I had loads of problems with my eyes, it used to make me so paranoid and anxious because I just wouldn't be able to see. So I'd be like trying to have a conversation with someone, like they'd be right in front of me and my eyes would be so blurry, like I wouldn't be able to like look at them properly. But obviously, we're taught that we have to make, like, it'd be rude if I wasn't making eye contact, or I don't know.
And then I get in my own head too much, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm everywhere but at this person. Like,
yeah, and I have weird like social issues anyway, so it's like and then another weird thing is when I have my glasses on, it's like that is another thing it's like things touching me and I'm like, it's helping my vision, but then it's also sensory overload, so I'm not sure which one I prefer, but yeah, I know what you mean. I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm just becoming a bit awkward as well.
Yeah, come over to
it's hard though, isn't it? Like, I know this is like a completely different topic to heat, but I just feel like it's hard when you've got so much going on in your life that like sometimes it then socialize, I don't know, it just becomes a bit hard. I don't really know how to explain it, but like I see, or like sometimes I speak to my friends on the phone and stuff like that and it's fine, I'm my normal self. But then sometimes like if I see them, I just feel like I've been isolating, but I did drop off a present for my friends that like didn't go any, other end of the driveway, dropped it off at a door. And it just felt really awkward. Like not like, oh, this is awkward, because we speak all the time, like on the phone. I just felt like awkward in myself. I was like, I can't really see, and my legs, I don't know, I just felt really just uncomfortable.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because at the end of the day, like, you're trying to keep up with kind of like social norms and what's expected of you. So
Yeah.
that's easier to do when you're texting, or you've been able to prepare yourself sort of mentally for just a phone call. But like, when you're interacting with someone in person, there is so many things going on. So if
It's a
you've got
lot to keep up
symptoms,
with, isn't it?
yeah, that was something that because I obviously, they told me my MS was anxiety, but it wasn't. It was my MS, but it was making me anxious because all this stuff was going on in my body, and I couldn't see properly, and it was like trying to talk to people and socialize. It's a lot, and also it's mentally fatiguing, having to remember all these things and having to, I don't know, be happy as well. Like sometimes when you like all these different things. But yeah, again, I can
We need
relate.
to do a whole episode on anxiety, because I feel like, yeah, I've got a lot to
Yeah, we'll do it.
talk about that. Especially like I feel, I said to you the other day, didn't I? I was like, oh, I'm having a really rough time. Like I kept waking up in the night having a panic attack. And even now, talking about things is so triggering for me. But yeah, like I don't know why. Like obviously, yeah, subconsciously maybe something's bothering me, but like, there was nothing actively like keeping me up at night. And there was a couple of nights that I woke up to, like, and it was happening. Like I remember I ran into the toilet because I always think that I'm gonna be sick. Like it's that same overwhelming feeling, isn't it, that comes. And I was like, oh, I don't feel very well. I'm gonna be sick. And so I was stuck having this panic attack over the toilet, which is lovely. And then I kind of like got in my own head, I think, too much, and I was scared to go to sleep because I was like, I'm gonna wake up having a panic. And like anyone that has them knows, they're not the one. And so like as soon as I'd like go to shut off, I'd get heart palpitations and start getting really nervous. So I've started taking like Boots brand own of like calms.
Oh.
And I don't know if it's a placebo or what, but it's working. So I'm going to take that.
Yeah, keep going with that, mate.
Yeah. Until
That
this
sounds good.
passes. Yeah, it does. I don't know what it is, but it just works at like chilling me out a little bit, like before I'm going to sleep and I'm not waking up or anything. So yeah, but we'll have to do like a whole thing on that. But
Yeah, well, I've just my brain is like
yeah,
tangenting
I
right
feel
now.
like there's
I'm
a lot
like,
to say on
ooh.
that. So that'll probably be the next one that me and you do, can't it? To talk about
Yeah,
it. But
that'd be good.
do you know the other thing as well that's been say what's been going on with me this week? I don't know if it's the heat that makes me a bit more emotional, but I proper like I've done cat well, I was gonna say I've been Cat Nelson. Cat Nelson?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's that? Cat Nelson and been savage, but it's not that I've been savage, but I've made a few decisions that were just right for me. And so like my friendship group, there's like 8 of us all together of like close knit, like best friends. And
Yeah.
we have a WhatsApp group together. And predominantly for a long time, like, chit chat goes on there. But now that the world is starting to like reopen and things are going again, like most of what's getting put on there is plans.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other day there was like, I know that one of them that lives in London is coming down at the end of August, and then there's a birthday coming up and all sorts of things. And then the other day Emily wrote on there about going abroad for her birthday, which is like the end of September. I just know it's just not something that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, like it upset me, but like, and it's so tough because I have no right, and I'm genuinely not pissed off at them. But it's really hard when like you can't do anything still and everyone else around you starts doing stuff. And I originally had said to them, I was like, no, like I would rather know than not know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't
Yeah.
want to feel like, oh, they all went and did this and I didn't even know about it. And I said to Frank, I was like, but that was easier to say when nothing was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But now it is. I'm kind of just like, I just don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know. If it was something that there's a chance I could go, fine, but because I know I can't, I'm just like, I just don't want to know. So I removed myself out of the group, which is quite a big thing. Because I mean, this WhatsApp's existed for years, like
Yeah.
with all of us on it. But I looked and I saw who, like Lucy, I saw who the admin was, and I texted Lucy and said, I've removed myself from the group, but when I'm ready, can you add me back in? And then I also texted Emily because I didn't want her to think like, I don't want her to feel bad. Like
Yeah.
she's entitled to plan
Yeah.
her birthday.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course.
she's just gone through a massive breakup. She's the one I said to you that broke up with her partner in France.
Yeah.
And so she'd said, I don't want to be in the country on my birthday. Like she is, I don't want to dampen any excitement that she has. So I text her as well to say like, please don't feel that that was a response to you. It's just that I know there's a lot of stuff coming up and I just don't want to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then last night a few of them posted their Instagram stories, all stuff they were doing together, and I was like, what's the point in removing myself from the group if I'm still going to see it? So I blocked them all. On her Instagram, I blocked them all on Instagram, and then I was talking to like Grace, like who wasn't with them, and I told her that I'd blocked them, and she was like, well, why did you do that? Do you know you can mute people? I was like, no. So this morning I unblocked them all. I didn't fucking realise that when you unblock someone on
Yeah, you have
Instagram,
to
they don't
them.
follow you, and they all, of course, they all have private accounts. So I had to request them all. So I sent them a request, and I text Lucy like, "Oh, Instagram messed up there. I don't know what happened," and just lied. And then I've muted them because you can just mute their stories, like,
Yeah.
so I don't see it, so I don't torture myself. But
I'm proud of you, mate. That's massive. And it's hard to do. And it's like, I was thinking more recently, like, I was thinking it on the toilet just before we did this. Like, I don't know, I say I'm savage and sort of like, I want to write a post about this, like, just how I've been feeling in general. Like, I think I'm savage, but actually, I don't. That isn't savage what you did. That was best for you. And actually,
yeah.
I think people are scared to do what's best for them quite a lot of the time because it is I'm going to upset people, whatever. But actually, if something is not, being helpful in your life, it's not. You're
Yeah,
not
if
being a
that's
bad.
not,
You're not
yeah,
a bad
it's not a
person for
pity
that.
thing. I'm not like, oh, I've removed,
Mhm.
like, I am a happier person not seeing it, not
Yeah.
being reminded. And like, I also can't be bothered with then like, if I just don't reply and then I have to reply saying, well, have fun, like, da da. Then I get the like, oh, bro, like, we miss you so much, like, da da. And I just don't want to hear it. It all comes from good intentions, but I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you don't care about them and that they're not your friends.
Yeah,
Like, you can
exactly.
still
They
be
are.
friends with
It's not,
them.
like I said, I'm not pissed off with any of them. Like, which is why I didn't want to say separating them if she blocked us. It's not come from that. It's just come from that I'm content. I'm happier being in my little bubble whilst I need to be. And also I've been friends with these girls since school. This is over a decade friendship. So it's not like I feel like, oh, but then I'm gonna fall out of the loop. Like, I could disappear off the face of the earth for 6 months and go back and things would still be the same. So
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. I'd just rather not hear it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you made that decision,
Because they
mate.
all like, I said to Frank, because like I text them individually about
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah.
So like I still am in contact with them all. I just don't want to be involved in like the group planning.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I've had it with watching all my friends go back to the gym because obviously a
Yeah.
lot of friends are in the fitness industry and it's difficult with both my back and my MS. And it's like, I've just been looking at it less. I've been watching people's stories less and just sort of, I don't know, but it is. I'm so glad that you've done that
It's not
because
trying to constantly remind yourself, isn't it, of
yeah,
like what you're missing out on.
yeah. And like I was thinking about, like, I was thinking earlier. This is when I was on the toilet upstairs earlier. I was thinking about this that like we've said it before about when sometimes people are like, oh, I'm so grateful for my MS, and me and you were like, what the fuck? But like the thing that like I am grateful for is now I feel like I'm in a place where I can say no to things that I don't want in my life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's where Savage Cat's been born. Like, and it's not savage. It's just having I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Putting yourself first kind of thing.
Yeah, like, yeah, and it's okay to do that. And actually, I used to really struggle with, like, I was saying no to just anything with anyone, and sort of always trying to sort of pander to someone else. Whereas now I'm just like, it's just a no tolerance zone with me. Like if it's something that I'm not happy with or I'm uncomfortable with, it's like I don't need to put myself through this, so I'm not going to do it for someone else's benefit.
Yeah. And also, like, I'm actually kind of like, I was gonna say low key excited, but it's not even low key. Like, I don't know, I've kind of like, after next week is out of the way, oh, touch wood, that I really got to the point where I just really want to focus on myself, like becoming healthier and just focusing on me, which we've said about before, like, you know, you can't, as much as some people like fortunately can manage their MS through like healthy lifestyle changes and stuff like that, like it's not come from a place of that, it's just come from a place of like, I know that I can make healthier changes in my life, kind of thing. And so I'm like, whilst I can shut myself off from the world, that's just what I want to focus on, because having that relapse at the start of the year and then not really having done much, like I'm getting weaker and weaker. Like I said to Frank this morning, I was like, oh God, my walking's so bad today. And I said to him, I was like, but not because of my MS. I can tell it's just because I'm so weak, because I've like not been doing the stuff that I would normally do, like from that relapse, like that I just want to take time. Do you know, if well, hopefully he's listening. This will be a test if Buster's listening. But like, honestly, he inspired me so much. I think I'd put off like doing it for so long because I was like, oh, I can't manage that. Like, you know, something too extreme. And he was talking about just like doing what you can when you can and starting off small and building it. I'm just like, yes, I'm going to do that. And I feel like most of my life, like friends, family, like I've been used to being there at the drop of a hat, you know, I'm always contactable, always there, like I'm always putting other people sort of first. That I'm actually kind of excited to just step back and be like, I'm just going to do me for a little while.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
And then next year or whenever, like life, you know, I'm only 29, like it's not like I'm like 99 years old and I'm like, oh no, I better be there for it, you know, like I think I'm entitled to have a bit of time to just sort my shit out.
Mate, massively. I love that. I love that. And I'm the same. And yeah, I was the same with Buster as well too. Like,
Yeah.
because I've obviously gone from like what you said about being weak as well. Like, because since my treatment, I've been lazy. Like, to be fair, I had about maybe 3 weeks where I, you know, I was sort of, it was fair point that I was staying in because I felt like so ill. But then actually, I've just sort of not been doing the things that I know keep me healthy, and sort of having that conversation with Buster. It was like, I was like, come on, Katt, get your fucking shit together. Like, I haven't been doing my walk-ins, and I've noticed that my legs don't feel as strong, and that's just from not keeping it for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks or something. And I really, I'm feeling a similar vibe that you've got with yourself, with myself at the moment.
And I feel like I'm in a good place to do it. Like in 2018, I had a lot of time off, like, you know, and I've said that then, but I had like quite a bad bout of depression.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first was off work, I was like, right, I'm going to take this time to do this. I'm explaining, like, focus on me, probably more like my mental health, like then. Because I wasn't in the right frame of mind to begin with, I had 3 months off and didn't really get anywhere with it, you know, didn't achieve anything that I wanted to, because just getting through the day was an achievement back then. Like, so I kind of was like, I had a little bit of like, oh, I've done nothing, but sometimes that's what you need to do. But I feel like now at the moment, I'm in a much better place to like do that. So
Yeah,
Sam 2.0.
I love it. I love it.
Well, in 3 months' time, I'll be like, no, I've done nothing. No, I won't. Buster's motivated me.
Yeah, we've got to do it for Buster.
Yeah.
I'm going to do similar. I've sort of been thinking this week, like I need, like I say, I know the things I need to do, and it's just doing them. Yeah. And it's like once I get back into it, it'll be okay. But I mean, I'm similar to you, Sam, in that I like to be there for people. I like to talk to people. I like have such an amazing network of people in my life, and I love to be there for people and give terrible advice, or actually excellent advice, but just advice that I don't take myself. But like, it was after my treatment, and it was like, actually, do you know what? It was because I physically couldn't keep up with the messages, like in my inbox.
Yeah.
And that was making me so anxious. And I was like, oh my God, everyone's going to hate me and think I'm an awful person. Like,
yeah.
And then it was like, actually, I don't need to do this. And like, if someone can't understand, like, you know, I'm sure I will get back to people at some. I've still got messages in my inbox from like 5 weeks ago, but it's like, but that's okay, because actually we're important too. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it,
Like
it
my new treatment dates, like I said, I've told you, but like I said, and I've not like outwardly publicized them. And
yeah,
that's one of the reasons as well, because I can't keep up with the messages.
yeah,
It's like, it's the same thing from our end, isn't it? That we're having to say to each person. And it's draining. I know it sounds like, oh, get the violin out. Like, oh no, like, poor you having people love you. But
oh, no, I always feel bad. Yeah,
it's hard, like having to say the same thing over and over again to a different like to each person.
yeah.
But I'd just rather surprise when I've got like it pumping through my veins.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And I think that's why I've been not putting, like you say, social media posts out, because it's like I want to write about stuff sometimes, but then it's like people will message me and it's not, and like you say, it's like oh, God forbid, like, you know,
Yeah.
people like being interested in you
Yeah.
and what you're saying and loving you and being
Like,
nice
let
to
me pour my heart out, but leave me alone.
you. It's like, but then it's like I don't want people to think that I'm being rude, because it's not that at all. And like,
Yeah.
but yeah, and yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that is something that I did feel so bad about. But actually, sometimes we just need time to.
Yeah.
to
And again, like I said, I'm not particularly going to advertise like I'm working on myself. I'm just, because then I feel like there's a pressure on you. Like I'm just gonna take each day as it comes and just do what I want to do.
Yeah, good. I
This
love
has
it.
got nothing to do with heat.
Yeah, we've just got tangented. I'm tangenting. I can't even say the word.
This is like the week that it's been, you know.
Yeah, I think I like our chatty episodes.
Yeah.
What do you think our phone calls? Most of our phone calls could just be made into podcasts, to
This
be honest.
basically would be one of our phone calls, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, essentially,
Like
yeah.
blocked all my friends, deleted.
Yeah. So sometimes we might forget that we're actually recording, and then be like, say things and be like, oh, I was going to just.
Be fair, I don't think any of them listen to this. But
Oh,
even
no.
if they do, like you know,
Yeah,
I told them I was leaving the group, and so it wouldn't surprise them too much that I blocked them.
yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I've just muted them now. I did not know that was a thing.
oh, yeah, it's a very useful thing, actually, mate.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of
And
having to, I was like, damn it, why do they all have private accounts? Because like when I requested one of them, it then said, oh, so and so follows you back now, and I was like, but they always. And I was like, oh great, they need to follow me as well.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
oops.
Mate, you do make me laugh.
Yeah.
You make me laugh.
This is my giant bowl that I was trying to describe that I'm going to take into the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, like 1.3 litres, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks decent, mate.
Yeah, because they don't have access to a kitchen, I've got to take like my own food and drink for the day.
Oh, yeah, you said. But hospital days are the best, because you can just have like snacks. It's just, that's
Yeah.
what I love about hospital days. I'm like, I just prepare like the day before. I'm like, right, snack time, like chocolate milk, ready to go.
Yeah, but then Frank was like, he's like, oh, what snacks? And I did the shop, and then he was like, this was your choice of snack. And I was like, yeah. He was like, they're like chocolate, crisp. But I was like, no, I've got some blanched hazelnuts. I really like hazelnuts, and I felt like if I do feel a bit sick, like they're quite, that's quite a filling thing.
Yeah.
Nuts, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I love the
and then
husks.
I also had some frazzles.
Love it. Another good choice there, mate.
Yeah.
Hospital food is the one.
But yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to add about the heat. Have you?
No, I think that's about it. I'm just trying to think, was there anything else that, like I said, maybe putting your feet in a bucket in water?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean, like feet as well. Like, because like sometimes my feet they can feel really hot, but they're not. And then at the same time, they can feel like nothing, and I'll touch it, and it'll be like really cold. Like my circulation to my feet isn't the best. So yeah, that'd be my top tips. Like, cool. Like, try lower your temperature before you even get
yeah,
too hot.
agreed. Definitely agreed
Don't
with that.
jam pack your day full of stuff,
Yeah.
unless it's go in the pool, get an ice
Yeah.
cream,
Oh,
get a
ice balls.
massage. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they're a tip. But yeah, I just hold myself up in my room, like fan, cool mat, and just sort of admitted defeat. That was on the Friday, I think.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's just what you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Look after yourself, and also like what we were saying at the end. But yeah, do what's best for you.
You do you.
You do.
I promise that I'm not going to come back as one of those like yoga pants green tea drinking.
I will be fuming if you do. I saw an actually
Like, Katt,
yeah.
you just haven't been drinking the right type of water.
I'll be like, where is my friend gone? What has happened? What has she
Yeah,
done?
too much kale. She's gone.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Anyway, before we start pissing people off.
Yeah. I think we'll continue this off the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. As always. And
drop us a slide into the DMs of WhatMS and let us know if there is anything that you want to hear us ramble about.
Yeah, any topics that you
or
want.
like experiences that you want us to share, or whatever. Questions, anything.
Yeah, I like these just us chatting. I think it's quite good to talk about all things MS.
Yeah.
So you're not here next week, are you?
No, yeah. So my treatment, I'll be in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So
what, you're not going to be able to?
I'll say, yeah, I'm going to be wiped Sunday, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think I've already told Buster he's got to do it with me, so he hasn't got a choice. So,
he needs to motivate us again. No pressure, but
yeah, no pressure, Buster. We've got to come up with a topic, but yeah, me and Buster will come up with something while Sam is Sam's unavailable. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening as always, and I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.